Dad was on top of me. Dad, get off of me, get off of me. Don't do this to me. You don't leave this house without giving me a kiss. I'm
Yeah.
your dad, give me a kiss. Dad, like, you sexually assaulted me. 2022, he got caught on a pedo hunting group in Scotland.
Ready? Mia, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Great. Yeah, let's just get straight into it. Tell me about your childhood. How you grew up.
So, growing up, I lived quite a normal life. Mum and dad were married. My mum and dad both had previous marriages beforehand, so I have siblings from different marriages. But I was the only child from my mum and my dad. And we lived quite a comfortable life, to be fair. My dad had his own business, so yeah, we had like a hot tub in the back garden. We were very comfortable, would go on holidays, and everything was fine. Everything was pretty normal. And then when I reached the age of 12, like 11, 12, I think it was like my first year in high school, my mum and dad split up. And then it was after that that everything kind of started to go downwards with my
Yeah.
dad. Um, it started off as like the house became less of a home, more like a house. I was living with my mum full time, pretty much, and only really seeing my dad when she was working night shifts and things like that.
Yeah.
Um, so it started off with like smoking in the house and the house just being a mess. Um, and then he started drinking all the time, fall asleep on the couch and just pretty much drink himself to sleep, wake up the next morning, go to work, rinse and repeat. Um, and then he started acting a bit different, a bit strange. Made me feel a bit uncomfortable. Um,
How old were you at this point?
so when mum and dad first split up, I was 11, um, and it was pretty much straight after my mum left the household that it started happening. I'd have like friends around for sleepovers and things, and there was one friend in particular where he'd just make comments about her body and how she looked older than her age. Um, if she'd have seen him, if he would have seen her in a bar, then he would have took her home or tried to take her home, not knowing her age, and that it was like dangerous for her to look the way that she did.
Yeah.
Um, and then it started with like kind of forcing me to kiss him. I'd always kind of, when I grew up, lived in a household where I did hug and kiss like my mum and my dad. But it kind of felt different at this point. Like it was like forced. It'd be like, you don't leave this house without giving me a kiss. I'm your
Yeah.
dad, give me a kiss. Give me a kiss before you go.
Mm.
And so, I'd give him a kiss on the lips and it just made me feel a bit uncomfortable, but like couldn't understand at that age what it was that was like making me feel weird.
Yeah.
Um, and he started like tapping me on the bum like as I walked past him, making comments on my body. If he'd like hug me goodbye, he'd like give my bum a bit of a squeeze. It just made me feel uncomfortable, but he was my dad, so it weren't like I don't know, it was weird. It was like I knew that I felt uncomfortable, but I couldn't understand at that point what it was. One night in February 2017, so at this point I'd have been 12 years old in my second year of high school. It started off as a normal night. My dad got home from work, drank himself to sleep on the couch, and I was sat in my room. My TV didn't work in my room. It was very normal for me to go and stay in like my mum and dad's room.
Yeah.
At this point, it was obviously just my dad's room because my mum had moved out. But it was very normal for me to go and like sit in the room, watch TV at night because he'd just be asleep on the couch anyway.
Mhm.
So this one night, I go downstairs and he's asleep on the couch, and I wake him up just to make sure it's okay. And I said, "Is it okay if I sit in your room for a bit and watch TV?" He's like, "Yeah, just do what you want, do what you want." So I go upstairs and I put TV on, and start watching TV, and I must have fallen asleep. And it's not, I didn't always fall asleep in there. I'd normally watch TV, turn it off, and then go into my own room. But this one particular night, I woke up and my dad was on top of me. Um, he had his whole body weight on top of me. He had one hand up my bra, squeezing my breasts, and one hand down my pants. And he had his fingers inserted, and he was grinding on me at the same time. And he was whispering in my ear.
Okay.
He was whispering in my ear, "Are you daddy's naughty girl? Are you a naughty girl?" On repeat in my ear. So I woke up at first to like the pressure of him on top of me, and I was just like in complete shock. What is going on? It was like he was a zombie. Like it was pitch black, but it was just like he was a zombie. Like what he was doing, I was like, what is going on? I just started screaming.
Yeah.
Dad, get off of me, get off of me, please get off of me. I'm crying my eyes out. And I'm like, please don't do this, please don't do this to me, please get off me, get off me. And then he rolled off to the other side of the bed and just went silent. So I rolled over onto the floor, and I was just led on the floor, like crawled into a ball. And I was just crying my eyes out and I was shaking. I didn't say anything, I didn't move. I just laid there and I must have just cried myself to sleep. I can't remember anything after that point from that night. I woke up the next day and I was on the other side of the bed. The bed was made on the side I wasn't on, and he'd gone to work. And I was like, nothing like that had ever happened before with him. Like I'd got like a weird vibe where I'd like felt uncomfortable, or like things he was doing like I didn't really want to do and didn't agree with, but he'd never done anything like that to me before.
Yeah.
So I was just so like in shock at what happened, and I did not know what to do because it's such like conflicting feelings. One, I thought to myself, did that actually happen? Like what happened? Because I could only remember up to a certain point as well. Because your brain's quite a crazy thing when something traumatic happens to you, it can block it out.
Yeah, definitely.
So I didn't really know what had happened as a whole that night. And he was my dad, and everything kind of carried on as normal. I tried stopping going around and seeing him, and we never really spoke about that night. After that, he literally just carried on like nothing had happened. Everything just went back to like how it was before.
Yeah.
I didn't tell my mum or anything like that because I didn't want to get in trouble and I didn't want him to get in trouble, and I didn't really understand at the time because I was only like 12 years old, the gravity of what he'd actually done. So I kept going around and seeing him. He kept calling me, "Why are you not coming around and seeing me? I'm your dad. Like without you, I've got nothing. Like your mum's already left me. Don't be like her. Come and see me. I miss you." Like manipulating me and guilt tripping me into going back round. So I carried on going round, like on the odd occasion. I started sleeping at my nan and granddad's when mum was on night shifts, but I did go round on the odd occasion just because I felt bad for him, because I felt guilty for not going round. And he was flying random women out from across the world, that would stay for like God knows how long, and be sat in the living room and I'd be able to hear them having sex upstairs. And most of these women were quite young. They were adults, but they were quite young women. I remember thinking like, God, you don't look much older than my sister. So obviously my sister would have been like 17 at this point. I did think about them like, you look so young, like why are you with him? And I'd hear them having sex upstairs. But obviously it's his house, it's his rules, like I couldn't really say anything about it. I couldn't tell him how to be in his own house, especially since him and mum weren't together anymore. And there was one time where he'd flown a woman out, not sure where from, and she kind of met me in passing, and they went upstairs and I just went to sleep and went to school the next day and carried on as normal. And then I'd not seen him in like a few weeks, and I'd come for a sleepover with my friend. At this point, I was trying not to see him on my own, so I'd kind of have sleepovers with my friends. So I walk into my room, and her suitcase was in my room. She'd been staying in my room. And I walk over to the bed, and there's fag buds in my bed. There's an ashtray on the windowsill next to my bed full of old fag buds. So I'm like, right, okay, I'm cleaning that up. And then I go to make my bed, and I notice under the pillow that there's a dildo. There's a dildo under my pillow. So when I'd seen this, like my friend had also seen this,
Mhm.
um, and it was just so embarrassing. Um, like that was there,
Yeah.
and she was like, "Is it yours?" I was like, "No, it's not mine. It's obviously not mine. I was literally 12 years old." Um, and things like that kept happening. Like he'd invite women around, and it just kind of carried on. And then came round, um, and I thought, I don't want to stay here. I don't want to stay here anymore. So I called one of my friends that lived on my estate. I said, "Can I please come and stay at your house?" She said, "Yeah." So I go to my dad. I'm going to sleep at my friend's house. And he's like, "Come here, give me a kiss before you go." "No, I'm just gonna go. I'm just gonna go to my friend's house." "No, you're a mash. I'm your dad. Come here and give me a kiss before you go." So I gave him a kiss on the lips, and he held me really tightly, and he squeezed my bum and tapped me on the bum really hard. So I walk out and go and carry on staying at my granddad's, and then it'd been, at this point, I can't remember exactly how long it had been since the incident, but it weren't close to the time that it had happened. I'd not really told anyone what he'd done.
Yeah.
So I'm coming home from, I think it was a hair appointment with my mum. We're in the car, and she says, "Oh, I'm working a night shift tonight. Like, you're gonna have to go and stay at your dad's house." I said, "I'm not going." I think I was maybe just turning 13 at this point.
Mm.
"Why don't you want to go?" I said, "I'm not going, Mum. I can't go there anymore. I can't." And she was like, "What? Why? What's happened?" And I just went, "He touched me." I didn't say what. I didn't say where. Didn't really go into any detail about it. But straight away, she was on the phone to a family friend who worked in social services. As soon as we got home, um, she called her friend. She came round. She called the police. Police came round, and it like kind of escalated really quickly. So at this point, I'm a bit scared because I'm like, "Oh God, like what have I done? I've like snitched on him. Like what's he gonna think?" Like I was still, even after everything,
Yeah.
trying to like protect him because he was my dad, and I think you're like kind of ingrained at a young age. You know,
Mm.
your parents are right, like, and still at this point didn't really understand what it is that he'd done. So the police came around to my house and obviously took a statement and things like that. And then I went to this house for video evidence. I went to this house and it was all white, cameraed up, mic'd up. And my mum came with me and she stayed downstairs. And I go upstairs with this male police officer and I'm sat in this room at 13 years old. Just me, a male police officer, two chairs in a white room, completely silent, and he's asking me to relay everything that's happened. I had no appropriate adult. I had no support from the police or anything like that. Um, it was literally just me and this male police officer. At this point, I've not even told my own mum what he's done to me. I'm 13 years old and I'm scared.
Yeah.
What makes you think that I'm going to be able to sit there and tell a male police officer that I've never met before everything that's happened?
Mhm.
And I've spoke to my mum about this um, just recently when I knew I was coming here.
Yeah.
Because I have in my head that I said things, um, but then later on in counselling when I've mentioned it, she said, "This isn't on your file. I need to report this." So my version of events, from what I remember as a child, is that I sat there in this room and he asked me like, why have we been called? Like, what's happened? Can you tell me like the last time you saw your dad?" So I told him about the night that he fell asleep on the couch because I wanted to go and watch TV in his room, how he got into bed with me. But I didn't go into enough detail at the time because I didn't understand what it is that he'd actually done to me, about the fingers being inserted and things like that. But I remember saying that he had his hand up my bra and he had his hands down my pants and he touched me. And I remember saying that he was whispering in my ear, "Are you a naughty girl? Are you daddy's naughty girl?" I remember saying that I was screaming, "You need to get off me, dad, please don't do this."
Mm-hmm.
And he rolled over, and then I fell asleep on the floor, and I woke up the next day and he'd gone, and that was it. And then I also said how the last time that I'd saw him, like, he slapped me and squeezed me on the bum, because for me that was like the breaking point, because things were still going on.
Yeah.
Um, so all that happened, and I have said he went to court and he got not guilty, but I'm actually not sure if it even went to court. I know I got videoed for it, um, because for evidence, I was a minor, I didn't want to see him in the courtroom. So I was videoed, but I don't know if it even went to court because of lack of evidence.
Did he get arrested? Well,
He got arrested.
arrested, yeah.
He got arrested and he got questioned,
Mm-hmm.
and he managed to contact me after, like, this had happened. Can't remember the exact time frame
He
or how it
contacted
was.
you after he got
Yeah.
arrested. Wow.
Um, he managed to contact me after I'd been arrested. I was out with my friends at the time, on a park not far from where he lived, and he rang me, basically asking me why I'd grassed him up, um, and said, "I thought you was your mum. Like, I was your mum when I rolled over in bed that night. Like, it was a misunderstanding." Um, and I was like, "Dad, like, you sexually assaulted me. Like, you can't help but be curious at that age." Like, I knew I probably shouldn't have even had the conversation with him. As soon as I answered the call and it was
Yeah.
him, in hindsight, I should have just ended the call. But as a child, so obviously I was still only like 13 at the time,
Yeah.
you curiosity gets the better of you. He managed to contact me, and he obviously said that he thought that I was my mum and it was an accident, and like just all sorts like that. Um, so because he also said to me on the phone, um, I I admitted to everything. I said, if you've said that I've done it, then I've done it. Um, Obviously, if that was the case, then why
Mm.
has nothing come from it? So then after that, obviously I told some of my friends like what had been going on. So she was involved with the police and things like that. And rumours started getting spread around my school and outside of my school as well, pretty much around like my hometown, um, of people saying, "Oh, like, oh, don't go near her. She slept with her dad." Like, I heard so many rumours, like twisting what had happened,
Yeah.
speculating what had happened, because I never actually really told anyone the full truth. I always kind of just said, "Oh, my dad sexually assaulted me when I was younger," or, "Oh, yeah, my dad touched me when I was
Mm.
younger." I never actually went into any details about it.
Yeah.
And there was one time I was just walking across the street, and there was a group of lads and girls that I knew, that went to a different school. And they're like laughing and joking and shouting things over to me, and I can't hear what they're saying, so I just ignore them and carry on walking with my friend and like
Mm.
just go. And then I got a message later that night from one of the girls that was in that group, because her mum was, my mum's friend, who my mum had rang, that was in social services.
Yeah.
So she knew what had gone on. And she rang me or messaged me and said, "I just thought I'd let you know that when you walked past us, one of the lads said, 'Oh, that's that girl that's sucked off her dad.'"
Mm.
And she said she shut it down straight away. Um, but I was just hearing all these rumours. So then I start going around in circles in my own head, because I'm like, well, for starters, no one believes me. Everyone thinks I'm dirty. I'm embarrassed. Um, Anyone that like I kind of told, kids are curious. They ask questions, which is fine. But you get the questions like, well, after he did that, why didn't you just tell your mum straight away?
Mm.
Why did you keep going around? Why did you go to the police after he just tapped your bum? But you didn't go to the police beforehand, like months before when he'd done what he'd done?
Yeah.
Why did you get in his bed that night? But I was a 12-year-old girl that just wanted to watch TV. I should be safe in my own home to be able to watch TV and not
And
have
he's your
someone
dad.
get in bed with me.
Yeah, and he's your dad.
Yeah,
So
he's supposed to protect me. But then there's like the guy that I grew up with from birth to 12 is a completely different guy to the guy that I had after mum and dad split up. It's like he just took a big turn, so it was really hard for me to comprehend it because it was such a switch in character that happened so fast. Like, it was all within the space of like a year that all of this happened.
Yeah.
That I went from like a loving, like, family home with my sister living there with me, my mum living there with me. We had a dog, my dad, we were all together. And then my sister moved out to move with a boyfriend. My mum moves out because they split up. And I've got this like broken home. And I remember laughing and joking when they first split up to my mum
Mhm.
and saying, "Oh, it's all right, I just get 2 Christmases."
Yeah.
But I never thought that like it would happen like this. So I kind of kept quiet about it for like a very long time. It was something that I just like brushed under the rug. And then in 2022, he got caught on a pedo hunting group in Scotland, and it was a live video that got spread around. Had hundreds of thousands of views, loads of comments. I got sent it by my brother from my dad's side, so he had the same dad as me,
Yeah.
but a different mum. And he sent me it, the live video, and I watched it, and the video is just so disturbing. It's disgusting. Um, it mentions how obviously he travelled from Preston to Scotland to meet what he believed was a 13-year-old girl that had been messaging. That was obviously a decoy.
Mhm.
He made the decoy call him sir. So what he believed was a 13-year-old girl made him call him sir. Explained how babies were made, explained puberty, said he'd wear a condom so she wouldn't get pregnant, and planned to pick her up after school and have sex with her in the back of his car. He sent bestiality. He sent nudes. Um,
Wait, before you carry, what's bestiality?
Bestiality is like sexual images or videos of animals or people with animals,
Yeah.
I think.
Okay.
So then this video got spread around, and I was sat there with my mum, my granddad's house, and obviously I'd showed her this video. I just kind of burst out crying because it was like, wow, finally people can see what sort of man he is. But then there was also this is also embarrassing for me for people that don't know
Mhm.
what I've been through to think I'm associated with him. I need to say something, like I need to write a post or something
Yeah.
so people don't think that I'm associated with this man. Um, but it was the first time where I'd actually realised, wow, what he did to me wasn't an accident. Because the whole time from 2017 to 2022, I had a part of me inside that really wanted to believe
Yeah.
that he couldn't do something like that to me and that it was an accident and that he did think that I was my mum.
Mm.
Um, so I thought I'd got over it, and then this video came out, and then it was all kind of hit me again. Like, wow, he did mean it. Everything that he did, it wasn't an accident. But it also meant that like I could share what had happened to me finally as a bit of a fuck you
Yeah.
to everyone that had ever said anything or not believed me. Um, so I wrote a little bit of a post. I didn't really explain anything in detail. I just shared the video myself. I thought before anyone else can share it on my behalf or say anything or make up any more rumours about me, because I'm so done with rumours,
Yeah.
if I share it myself and acknowledge it, then no one can say anything about it. So I posted the video myself, I shared it on, and said, I just want everyone to know, I already know this is what this man's like, basically. He assaulted me when I was a child. He's not a nice man. The video speaks for itself. Like, keep your kids safe. He's a
Mm.
paedophile. Um, so that was that. So now he has been found guilty of that. The page has posted that he's got found guilty. So I asked them, how long he got, but he's not been sentenced yet. So I'm not sure how long he's going to get for that. Hopefully, he does get some time for it. Am I all right
Shocking.
to read off a screenshot?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because I've got a screenshot of the post where it said guilty.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's fine.
So the post that they shared says guilty and says his name. And then it says spoke in a highly sexual manner to the decoy. The decoy had to call him sir, or to what he thought was a 13-year-old girl. Travelled to Glasgow from Preston to meet the decoy to have sexual contact with her in the back of his car. So that was what he got found guilty of.
Yeah.
So I obviously share this post and everything was fine. There was no more rumours or anything after that. But I'd still never really said anything like in much detail to anyone. I don't even think my mum knows the full story until now when she watches this. I remember in counselling, I got counselling with school. After it happened and school found out, put me in counselling. I was speaking to my counsellor, and we were just having conversation. It was the first time that we fully unpacked that night. And so I spoke to her about it. And when I said, he was on top of me and there was fingers inserted, she just looks at me and she's like in shock. And she's like, that's not on your file. I need to report that now. We need to ring the police. And straight away, police came to the school and took a statement from me. And my mum came to school and she was like, you've never told me that. She was like, I knew something happened. I knew he touched you, but you never told me that. And obviously, at this point, I've already been recorded for police. Like, this is
Yeah.
like 3 years on from the actual incident itself. So the police kind of say, well, what do you want to do? There's no new evidence. It's still just like your word against his. If it's either,
But even like, no new, what evidence do they like?
yeah, exactly. I get why you need evidence
Yeah.
to protect from people that are lying or anything like that, but then where's the protection for victims?
Yeah.
Because when in the moment, you kind of just trust the police, you just trust that they're doing their job, how they're supposed to do it. And as a child, I'm just expecting all the adults know what's supposed to be happening. Like, I'm just 12 years old, I'm just telling you what's happened. I
Yeah.
expect that you guys are going to do whatever it is that you need to do to make it right.
Yeah.
But the fact he had no appropriate adult, it was a male police officer. I got no support afterwards. It was only through my school that I got counselling. There was no follow up. There was nothing. The police, when they came to my school, they didn't even like take me somewhere private to have the conversation with me. We were stood in the office, and so I'm stood there with police officers and my mum in an office with see-through glass where everyone has their dinner and lunch.
Wow.
And that's when they kind of say like, "Well, what do you want to do?" Because there's no new evidence, so I don't think it's going to make it to court or anything like that. So it just got like logged on file and they just said, "Well, we'll advise him not to contact you." That's what I got told.
Advise him, not
Yes.
tell him.
Yeah.
Just say, "Oh, I don't think you should contact her."
Yeah.
So when it happened
Mm.
to you, I know you told, well, it would have been 8, but I just don't know what kind of physical, is it physical evidence that they need or more detail? Did they say?
I honestly don't know because it's one of them situations where it's kind of my word against
Yeah,
his. Because how is this supposed to be evidence of anything like that?
exactly.
I
Yeah,
have had people comment on my video that I posted where I did a bit of a story time about him, saying that they can now take evidence, like from like fingernails and stuff.
yeah,
So there could have been physical evidence, but the issue is that I'd only spoke up about it months after it actually happened.
yeah.
Um, so I don't know how there's supposed to be any evidence,
Hmm.
but even still now, I have like messages between us where he admits to rolling over on top of me in bed.
Yeah,
And he admits that he thought that I was my mum, but he doesn't admit the fact that he assaulted me, he just said that he touched me. So I still don't even know if it's enough evidence now. I
Yeah.
I don't know. And I don't know, I don't think it's something I want to
Do again. Yeah. Do you think it will
know.
be quite difficult for you to
Yeah.
speak to like police in that kind of setting?
Yeah, I have thought about it, but it's just when you've already reported something twice, and everyone says, "Oh well, now that you've got this evidence of him being a paedophile,
Hmm.
surely that will help." But they're two separate cases.
Yeah.
Just because he's a paedophile doesn't mean that they can say for definite that he did what he did to me.
Yeah.
And then also there's the point of, well, how does it make me look if I come back now again? I've already said that his fingers were inserted in me and
Yeah.
that nothing came from it. So I
Mm.
don't want to keep going round and round in circles, otherwise I'm never going to heal from it if it's just always
Yeah.
happening.
That's true.
But after I posted the video, um, someone that used to be seeing my dad got in contact with me. She'd saw my video and she said she had a few things that she wanted to share um, about how them two met and things like that. So when they both met, my dad was 50 odd and she was 21. So she was of age,
Yeah.
but much younger. And my dad was still with my mum at the time. And they met through um, him doing our kitchen or something like that. And he's like, "Oh, let's get drunk, let's get wrecked up." And they start seeing each other. At this point, then me and my mum have moved out of the house. Comes up with a complete lie about why we're not staying with him anymore.
Yeah.
Um, and kind of keeps her kind of hostage there. Like he takes her bank cards off her and things like that, and doesn't really want her to leave. And she lives near Manchester, and we're from near Preston, so quite expensive in an Uber and things like that. And she was there the day that the police came knocking on the door. And even then, she said to me in these voice notes, "Well, the police came to the door and knocked on, and said something about your dad touching you on the bum."
Oh.
Why? If it was just a touch on the bum, like, even still, that to me is wrong,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't have escalated it that far if that's all that it was. I wouldn't have put anyone through the drama of it all. I wouldn't have put myself through the drama of it all. I was literally so scared growing up, like, in school, because even though my dad didn't know where I lived,
Hmm.
he knew what school I went to. Nothing came from it. So we're still living in the same house, going to the same pub, walking the same streets for everyone to see after what he's done to me. And he
Yeah.
knows what school I go to. And he's fuming at me because I've grassed him up and he still can't see that he's done anything wrong.
During that
So,
time when, because I know you said that there was loads of rumors about you and people were being quite nasty.
mm,
Was there anything done to him? Was anyone calling like, nuns or trying to get to him or anything like that?
I don't think so, no. Because obviously I'm saying he's done something that's this bad and nothing's come from it. And he is being seen in the same house, walking the same streets, in the same pub.
Mm.
No, literally nothing. Even my own family, from his side of the family, didn't know he'd done anything wrong. I'd have messages off like my cousins and things saying, "You need to go and see your dad, you only get one in this life."
Even after you come out and said what
No,
happened?
before
Oh,
anyone knew,
before. Yeah.
because I kind of just presumed that everyone knew. Obviously, I was a kid, so
Yeah.
like your memory is when something traumatic happens to you, like it just gets so distorted. Um, like I thought, obviously, when I first went to the police and I got videoed in that room, I thought in my head that I was being clear enough about what happened, but they can only take what you say. They can't. If I just say he touched me, well, that can mean anything. You have to be so specific with it. Like you
Yeah.
have to say like his fingers were inserted, like things like that. So I thought that everyone knew. Like even when I said to my mum like, "Oh, he touched me," I thought that everyone grasped the concept because that
Mm.
was me trying to say what he'd done without actually having to say what he'd done.
Yeah.
So I honestly thought that everyone knew, but obviously they didn't. Um, she She also said that when she was with him, there was also this 19-year-old girl from Germany, um, and he'd tie her up and whip her, and he had photos on his phone of this girl looking really scared, tied up, whipped with red marks all over her, and buckets of ice thrown over her. And she said there was a website that he always went on that was like the same sort of stuff that
Mhm.
was being shown. So I don't know the name of the website,
Yeah.
and I don't know how true this is because this isn't coming from me. This is coming from
Mhm.
her. Um, and there was in a lot of these photos, the girls didn't look old enough. They looked very young, and they all looked very scared. And it was all around the same genre of like being tied up, being like kind of abused as such. Um, so there was that as well. But now that this obviously pedo hunting group has all come out and things like that, it's been so much easier for me to like share my story on it
Yeah.
because I went through so many years of like literally feeling like I was dirty that finally now I can openly talk about it. Because the first step to getting over anything like this is being able to talk about it. If you can't talk about it, you're never going to learn to live with it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people say to me, like, how are you so okay after everything that's happened to you? Like, how have you not lost your head? If that had
Mhm.
happened to me, I'd be broken. It's like, how long do you expect me to be sad for?
Yeah.
What does a victim look like to you?
Mm.
Like it is sad what's happened, but it doesn't define who I am. I'm so much more than the girl with the paedophile dad that got sexually assaulted. It's a big part of my story that's made me who I am now, but it doesn't define me. But
Yeah.
I'm also not going to shut up about it. People have said, "Well, why would you want people to know that about you?" Why would I not? Since I've posted this video,
Mhm.
the amount of girls that have got in contact with me saying thank you for sharing it because they feel seen, like they've never met anyone, and I've never met anyone
Mhm.
that's been through the same as me. It's something no one's ever going to comprehend until they've been in the situation because all sexual assault is bad, but it's one thing to be sexually assaulted, and it's another thing to be sexually assaulted by like a parent or someone in your life that you love, especially if it kind of happens out of the blue.
Yeah.
Like he weren't always like that, and I'm lucky that he weren't. I'm lucky that it was a short period of time, and that
Mhm.
as soon as I did speak up, my mum got me out of that situation as fast as she could. Um, but why would I not talk about it? Because I'm not embarrassed anymore. Like
Yeah.
there's nothing. I've gone through all these rumors, and I've thought to myself in my head, oh, maybe if I didn't get in his bed that night to watch TV, it wouldn't have happened to me. Maybe if I didn't sleep over, maybe if I'd stopped going round. No, I'm so done with blaming myself.
Yeah.
I
It's not
was
your fault. You're a
yeah,
child.
yeah, I
His
was a
child.
child. I was his child. I should have been able to lie in his bed,
Yeah.
and he should have been able to not get in it,
Mhm.
or at least not touch me. Picked me up and carried me to my own bed like a dad should do.
Yeah.
But obviously, when you're being told and told and told that you're a liar or you're dirty, and it ends up sticking with you
Mhm.
until finally I just decided I'm not embarrassed anymore. Why would I not want people to know?
Yeah.
Spreading awareness, like this happens to people. Like how why is it making other people feel awkward that I'm talking about it? It's an awkward situation. It's dark and it's deep.
Yeah.
But why would I be embarrassed about talking about it? Because I'm
Yeah.
not. Because if I could go back in time to 12-year-old me and give her a hug, I'd be able to tell her that it's going to be okay. Like, I was so scared to say anything to anyone. I let it go on to months before I told my mum. It was only when I was 15 she found out that the sexual assault was as bad as it was. That's 3 years later.
Mhm.
Um,
I know you say that you took ages to tell your mom, but I just want to tell you as well that you didn't take ages. There's a lot of people, as you probably would know now,
yeah,
that don't say anything even well until adulthood, like well past your age, like on way until even they're elderly. So even for you to be that young and still be able to say something even after 3 months, it still is a good job done. Because some people, as I said, if they don't even get to the point of saying anything. So
Yeah.
you were still very brave at your very young age to even come out, even if you just said, "Oh, she's touched me," and you know it was more.
Mm.
It was still you trying to say something and not covering up for him, or trying to make him seem like a good person. So you
Yeah.
still did speak up, even if it was 3 months
Yeah.
later.
Well, when I posted the video originally, I didn't expect it to blow up because it was TikTok. Some of the
Yeah,
words that you say, you get restricted and it only goes to your followers. So I'd obviously posted this video more so people around my area um as a bit of a fuck you. And
yeah,
like obviously like I weren't lying and like I don't even know what possessed me to do it. I just kind of was like, you know what? I'm not scared anymore because I'd been through all the rumors already. There's nothing anyone else could say about me. Like the proof's in the pudding.
yeah,
He's a paedophile. He's literally a paedophile, and he's been caught as a paedophile.
yeah.
Um, but I'd had messages from my dad. He'd found me on TikTok. This was probably 2024.
Hmm.
This was fairly recent. He'd found me on TikTok, and he messaged me on TikTok, paragraphs and paragraphs, and I'm like, "What the fuck? After everything that's happened, why are you
Yeah.
messaging me?"
And this is after he's got
This
caught
is
on the.
after he's been caught on this pedo hunting group.
Wow.
This is 2024.
Mhm.
He messages me, and in these messages, he's basically saying, "Your dad's so loving, so pure. How could you?" I've got the screenshots actually. Should I read off them
Yeah.
because the that mind blowing. It's like how you've literally been caught out. Like how still to this day are you trying to deny everything? Like
Is he trying to like save face,
he's trying
kinda?
to switch it on me.
Oh,
He's saying that I'm dangerous and I've thrown him under the bus. It doesn't make sense. Why would you even try and contact me?
yeah,
This is because he'd found out, I had him blocked on Facebook,
yeah.
but he'd found out that I'd shared the footage of him being
Mhm.
caught by the pedo hunting group. So he says, "I don't trust you. You're dangerous for your dad, and it's so awful. I have photos of you in my flat. You will make mistakes in your life just like your dad. But after everything, my own beautiful, loving daughter betrayed her own dad. Just imagine your dad's so pure and innocent to know his own daughter after seeing me that one misunderstood night. You've thrown him under the bus and got it very wrong. I wouldn't be messaging you if I didn't care and wasn't pure of heart. Your dad is a giver." Um, I told the police my little girl says I've done something, I've done it. She wouldn't lie, not even in handcuffs. Um, and he says in capital letters, "Do you really think your dad turned over that night half asleep? Do you think I did it intentionally, Mia Mash? Yes or no? Your dad could never do that intentionally. I was asleep. Why did you do this? Is it just for the attention?" But then one of his last messages said, "You need to cut your hair really, really short and stop wearing makeup. You're way too beautiful right now, and I don't like men oogling at you. Can you be a little ugly?" With a sad face.
It's a bit odd.
It's just
It's
bizarre.
it's the thing for me is he's already been caught by the paedophile ring, but he's not speaking about that at all.
I
He's just
know.
speaking about what you've said to the police in the past.
Yeah.
But what about the 13-year-old girl that he was gonna meet? Like, are we not gonna like we're not gonna
Yeah.
mention that? Yeah, that's a bit weird. Yeah, so I know now you've posted the video and things, so do you think that you'd go on to help other girls if you could?
Yes, a 100 million% because like even like when I told people I was coming on this podcast today and they
Yeah.
said like, "Why would you want to share that?" Obviously because of the amount of girls that have messaged me, I never even realized until I shared my story how many girls were out there, how many people were asking me for advice on how to come to terms with it and like live with it.
Yeah.
There's so many things like when something like this happens as a child, it's so difficult because you do live with it for the rest of your life. And yeah, I seem fine, and I'm like a quite a strong woman. Like it's not really something that's affected me that people will be able to see. But the parts that people don't see is the fact that I had really, really bad anxiety
Mm.
to even just go to the shop, even now, to just go to the shop in my hometown. But I can fly to the other side of the world on my own to Australia
Yeah.
because I'm safe there. And I didn't realize at the time that this was what was causing my anxiety. But while I've like now that I've like kind of dug deep and thought about it, it's because really there's a small voice in the back of my head that's just like, imagine if you see your dad and you're on your own, what are you gonna do?
Mm.
Because I don't know where he is, and he knows he knows what town I live in. He doesn't know exactly where I live, but he knows what town I live in.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be hard for him to find me if he wanted to.
Yeah.
There's that small voice, and then there's obviously like I was so scared in high school about whether he was going to show up to my school. I have reoccurring dreams of him showing up to my local pub and just walking in, or like I have reoccurringly think about the night that it happened
Yeah.
and play it on repeat in my head. Like up until I was like 16, 17 years old, going to sleep at night, sometimes I'd randomly have a bit of a blip where I'd have to go and sleep in my mum's bed because I'd be having
Yeah.
a panic attack.
Mhm.
Like there's so many hidden things. I literally searched for control in my life because he took that from me.
Mhm.
Now, like if I'm ever in a situation with a partner where I suddenly don't have control of the situation, I completely go back to that
Yeah.
night, always.
Yeah.
And it's like a bit of a freak out, and it's something I'm always going to live with. And you kind of think that you're over it. You're never going to be over it, but it's learning to live with it and
Mm.
learning to deal with it. But the first step to learn how to deal with it is actually telling someone about it.
Yeah.
You don't have to go on a podcast and talk about
Mhm.
it. You don't have to share it online and talk about it. But at least if there's one person in your life that you talk to about it, that's the first step in healing and accepting it. And also accepting the fact that whether it was or wasn't an accident, he can preach all he wants that it was an accident and he thought that I was my mum. What he did will live with me for the rest of my life, whether he meant to or not, whether he remembers it or not. I'm always going to live with that now. And the kids growing up, if there was a bit more awareness about it and it was spoke to more and it was less of a like taboo topic,
Yeah.
maybe people wouldn't say things like that because that's stuck with me forever now. The guy that said it, he probably doesn't even remember saying it. It's probably not even a thought in his mind.
Yeah. But it
But
sticks
that's
with you.
part of my story is that
Yeah.
people genuinely thought that I'd sucked my dad off and slept with my dad
Mhm.
and wanted to.
Mhm.
And people thought that I was dirty, and it makes you feel dirty. But you gotta like accept the fact it's happened and it's shit, and
Mhm.
it's a big part of my story and it's a big part of who I am now. But it also doesn't define me, and it's nothing to be embarrassed about. It's nothing to be scared about talking about it. If you talk to the right person, someone that loves and cares about you, you're never gonna get in trouble,
Yeah.
for being honest. If I hadn't have done that, where would it have progressed to? How far would this have gone with him? How long would I have been in that house? Would he still be in my life now doing things like that to me? And I wouldn't have been able to say anything about it. So even if there's one person that has heard my story, either from me or from this, and is encouraged to speak up or ask for help or literally anything, because I didn't get any help. I kind of went through it alone, but looking back, I wish that I'd have stuck with counselling maybe, and that I would have reached out. I remember crying in my room once, and I went to message Childline because I did not know what to do,
Yeah.
but I didn't do it. So I just think there should be more support, and also the justice system as well really needs looking at, because I get it, you need evidence, but what about the victims? Where's the follow up? Why did I have no appropriate adult? Why was there not a female?
Mhm.
Why was it a male police officer? Why was I alone in that room with that man,
Yeah.
this stranger? Like, there needs to be more done, 100%.
Well, thank you for coming down and sharing your story on the stool. I still think you're incredibly brave for sharing
Thank you.
such a story. I know exactly like what you said, sexual assault is sexual assault, but when it comes from a parent that, was a part of bringing you here, it goes a little bit deeper. So you're extremely brave for sharing your story.
Thank you.
And that's a wrap. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, I'm
All right.
shaking.